Hi, everyone. I'm Terry.
And I'm Ella.
Welcome to the Chasing Red Flags podcast, Let's Get Real.
Here, no topic is off limits.
And real beats perfect every time.
Welcome to the conversation.
Welcome to where you belong.
You're part of the family now, so let's get real together.
Hi.
Hi, Mama. How are ya?
So excited.
I'm very excited.
Okay.
This is probably going to be one of my favorite episodes to talk about because today my co-founder, best friend, and person, Terry, my mom, is on the hot seat today. I kind of want everyone to get a glimpse into what I get with you every single day because you are truly my safe space and the person that I go to for everything, and I always confide in you, and even though that sometimes bites you in the ass, I think
A lot of times bites me in the ass.
I just want everyone to see what I get. And I'm going to be honest, as you know, I haven't necessarily shared everything right away with you, which I think is normal as someone growing up.
As much as I didn't like
yes,
it.
But
Yes.
as much as you didn't like it, so I do want to preface that. But you have been my best friend in so many areas, but you are also very much my parent in others. And I started to notice as I got older that I wasn't the only person confiding in my mom. And I started to see that people felt safe and wanted to open up to her just as much as I did. And today I want to give you more of that experience. And the no judgment, no topics off limits is truly our essence of our relationship. And so I'm super excited to talk about my mom today. So please welcome my best friend and my mom, Terry.
Hi.
Hi.
Before we officially start, we want to say thank you so much for being here. It means so much to us. Please subscribe to the Chasing Red Flags podcast and leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our episodes. Thanks. Let's get into it.
All right. I am about to grill you. I have a lot of questions
Okay.
because I want everyone to know us and you. And
Should I be nervous?
I don't know.
Okay.
But you're really good at this.
Okay.
So I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So we did talk about this a little bit in a previous episode, but give me a little more. What are Terry Talks?
Terry Talks are just when people come over to sit down and talk, and usually there's some advice given, but a lot of the time it's just listening, validating, and hearing what people have to say.
Love it. Who did come up with the name Terry Talks?
Actually, you did. In middle school, you had a friend that would come over and ask for advice all the time. She was struggling with another group of girlfriends. And she would come over once, twice a week. And one day you just said, so-and-so is coming over for a Terry Talk. And it just stuck.
Love it. What do these kids and my friends and people open up to you about?
Literally anything. I think when you were younger in elementary school and middle school, it was a lot of girl advice and girl drama and people being mad at each other and what they should say. And then it went into, my big thing, don't write anything down that you don't want the whole world to see. It was a message I kept saying over and over to all of these kids because phones became so prevalent and texting. So it became a lot of lessons about that. And then as you got older, we started talking about boys, and it was advice about how to handle when a boy asked them out or they didn't like a boy and what the right thing to say was. And then Snapchat came into play, and it was a lot about what to send and what not to send. And as everyone got older, there was a lot of bigger kids, bigger problems issues, how to talk to their parents when they got in trouble in school or if they got in trouble gambling. Definitely a lot more, serious issues as they got older in high school. It just honestly, there was nothing that was really off limits. I think we just always made an environment where people could come talk.
Were you ever worried about giving the wrong advice?
I mean, not really. Not really. I preface everything with it's my opinion. Advice, when you ask someone for advice that's not a professional, I'm not a professional, it's just getting someone's opinion. So I was never really worried about giving the wrong advice. I think I'm always very careful. If I'm being honest, I did a lot of listening.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just wanted me to hear what they had to say, and I wasn't really advice giving. It was just really talking things out. They would come up with their own conclusion.
Everyone wanted to feel validated, and I'm being honest, you were always the person that made people feel that way because you never judged them for what they were saying.
Yeah.
You were kind of just like, I understand. Like, that makes sense. And I think that was like a safe feeling for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I was hoping to do.
Yes. What if somebody did open up to you about something on the dangerous side?
So my deal with again, if it was relationships and friendships and all of that, but I think everyone knew that if I felt there was something that they were confiding me about that was dangerous or where I was worried about their health or well-being, that I was going to let a parent know. And I've never had to do that. So they probably kept those things from me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And I think that's very understandable. And I also think that kids knew that and still felt comfortable opening up to you. So,
oh, yeah. I mean, again, we've talked about so many different things in this house and so many different topics. But I would say to them, does your parent know? All the time. Does your mom know? Does your dad know? And I think it's more the in-depth kind of relationship-y things that sometimes people can't talk to their parent about because it's like terminology that I'm very
You're an open
straightforward.
book.
I swear I'm an open book. I say what's on my mind, and
a little
I think
inappropriate at times. We love it.
definitely a little no filter. So I do think that some parents are just a little more conservative than me, and so some kids don't really want to bring topics up. I mean, we talked about your friends having their period, let's say. Like, just some parents don't talk about that. I remember telling you about what sex was for the first time when you were really young before you were going to overnight camp, and some of your friends were like, I've never had that conversation with my parents, and they're like in 11th grade.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that, different households feel comfortable saying different things, and we just talked about everything.
Before we continue, I do feel like because you did mention it, we should go back for a second and how we were so open and you shared everything with me and your first, and you were telling me about like the first time, like what sex is and your first time and all of that. Like, we do have the funniest story ever about me when I was younger.
Okay, so are you talking about Aruba? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were going to overnight camp. You were going to overnight camp, and I was a crazy.
I was what? I was 9.
You were 9.
I was 9.
And I was not ready to tell you about sex. But everyone that had a kid that went away for the summer kept saying, you got to tell her about sex. She's going to hear it from other people and you want to hear it. You want her to know what she hears from you is real and what she hears from other kids her age is not real. So I called your pediatrician.
You sound like a crazy mom.
I didn't know what I was doing.
You called my pediatrician?
You were my first child. I called him about everything. I called him and I said, I need to tell about sex. She's going to overnight camp. What should I say? And all he said was, be very technical. So I took that as, don't talk about how sex is enjoying, like, and you're enjoying it, nothing, just be technical about what it was.
How to make a baby.
How to make a baby. So we get to Aruba. I'm like definitely anxious. And I'm like, oh, let's go take a walk on the beach. I didn't want your brother to hear. And we're walking on the beach. And I just went into it. I said, the penis goes into the vagina. We talked about sperm
and the egg.
And the sperm meeting the egg. And that's how you get a baby in your tummy. And you looked up at me.
Oh my God.
with the sadness in your eyes. And you just said to me, I am so sorry that you had to do that with Dad 2 times. It was one of those parenting moments. And I know
like,
you won't
that's
get it.
a win right there.
I was like,
win.
I'm a winner. I am a winner. It's technical, and she's never going to want to have sex.
That's so
which
funny.
At 9 was my goal. I went back and I told your dad, I'm like,
we're good.
We're good. I did it. She's never going to want to have sex. She feels bad for us.
It's amazing. It's a good story.
It was a good story.
Did you have this kind of relationship with your own parents?
I did and I didn't. I would say that I knew that my parents always had my back.
Yeah.
And that's where I got it from. I have your back.
Mama bear.
And I knew my parents had my back. But they were much stricter than I was. It was like stupid rules. Like if there was a 12 o'clock curfew by law that you couldn't be driving after 12 o'clock, my parents gave me an 11:30 curfew. It was just like weird. They were just very strict. So I would say that I lied a lot more than you did. They definitely held me accountable for some things that I confided in them about. So, but I also knew that they had my back. So I do remember this kid Mark, was always made fun of me. I definitely was made fun of. I was really short, shorter than you, obviously.
I know, but that's where I get my shortness from.
Yes,
So
but I was super short and very flat chested. So the boys would go up to a wall and they would put their hands on the wall and they would say, "Terry, are you there?" Like making fun of me, which I was super insecure about.
That's
my
horrible.
boobs.
I don't mean to laugh. Like,
and
that's
my
horrible.
height. I know, but like I'm insecure about that. It's like
Still.
now I joke about it. I always talk about how I would love to have big boobs, but my parents, this boy was making fun of me, and I punched him in the stomach. And the school called, and his mother called. And I remember listening in the other room, like my ear
Like
to
to
the
the
other
wall.
room. Yeah, to the wall. You do that all the time,
All the
by
time.
the way. And I remember my mom saying, "Well, what did he do to deserve this?" And I'll always remember that was the first thing she said. So she had my back.
Yeah.
But they were stricter than me.
Love it. How are you with them now?
Great. I would say we didn't have the best relationship in high school in some ways because I kept things from them and I lied to them. When my brother, and I graduated, I would say college, we had this thing. We went out for dinner on vacation and we had amnesty night.
Okay.
That's what my mom called it, your Gaga, where we could tell them anything that we did in high school or college. I mean, she kept saying to me, "And you won't get in trouble." And I'm thinking to myself,
Yeah, you will.
I'm an adult. You're going to ground me now?
Oh.
She kept saying, "Oh, tell us everything. We won't get you in trouble." But we had amnesty night where we told crazy, crazy stories
Everything
of what we
you did.
that they didn't know. And one of them was a huge, huge party I had when they were away on a cruise. The police came.
Is this the one where you had all of the plates on the wall and you put sticky notes and you
Yes.
tried to put them back after the party?
Yes. Did Gaga tell you that? Or did I
Yeah,
tell
no,
you that?
Gaga told me that because
Yeah.
she caught you. Because I remember, I think she was so mad about that.
So they were away on a cruise and they let me actually come back early because I wanted to see my boyfriend at the time. And it was New Year's Eve and I'd never spent New Year's Eve at home. And Gaga had a plate of china, like plates all over the walls. And the boys were like, "We're going to have this big party. We got to take them all down." So we put it was actually kind of brilliant. We put a number on each plate and then we just put a sticky note on the wall with the numbers. And we were like, okay, so we'll be able to put them back up the next morning. Drunk kids moved all the sticky notes around. And I'm not kidding. I think it took us 3 hours to figure out where to put the plates back
And you
the next
actually
day.
broke one of them.
And we broke a plate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that was a good story. That was a good story.
How did other parents feel about your Terry talks? If you have any idea. I don't necessarily know either.
I don't necessarily know. I do think there's two parts to that. I heard through the grapevine of town that you hear through moms that a lot of people thought it was weird that I was so close with the kids. And the only way I look at it still, and I don't know about you, I'm actually going to throw a question back at you,
Great.
is that anyone who comes into our house and that you or your brother love, I treat like they're my own. And so I've always been open and honest and felt like they should be too. And I have their back and I take care of them like they're my own.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I look at it. Nobody's ever called me and said, "I have a problem with you talking to my child." I don't even know if they know I talk to their children. I do know that I've gotten a lot of calls, mostly from Ryan's friends' parents, saying that their kids have said, "I talked to Terry about this first, and it now I'm opening up to you," and they've thanked me. So on that sense, it's been really nice.
Well, I remember we had Ryan's graduation recently, and there were parents that were like, "My kid wouldn't have gone through high school without you."
Yeah.
So I think that's, for me, the better way to see it, because you truly have helped so many people, and it's not a weird thing. You just have this aura of you that people feel comfortable opening up.
But let's not deny that there are judgy moms.
Of course, there's always
That
going to be judgy moms.
We're very judgy.
Yes.
But I also kind of looked at it as, why are you letting them come to my house if you have a problem with me?
100%. If you
right?
don't want them talking to you or opening up or saying things that maybe they don't tell you because you just make them feel more non-judged, then don't let them come here.
Yeah.
I agree with that. This one's a good one. What were you like as a kid? Like my age, like throughout high school, college?
So in elementary school, I would say I was friends with a group of girls whose their moms were all best friends.
Okay.
And that was kind of hard for me. I definitely would say to Gaga all the time, well, can you be friends with those moms?
Oh,
so
I think we've experienced that a little bit too.
yeah. So I feel like sometimes when you've gone through the same things as me, and I've learned through therapy that, I can't put my stuff on you.
Yeah.
But I definitely, part of my mama bearish is I remember feeling those same feelings.
Yeah.
So when your feelings are hurt about that, I know my feelings used to be hurt about that. And I used to want Gaga to
like
be
a
friends
trigger
with them.
from your past.
Yeah, it was a trigger. I wasn't the nicest middle schooler. I was insecure, like about my height and my boobs, and I wasn't often that nice, to be honest. And I think I got much nicer in high school and was finding myself a lot more. And I think that's why I am so adamant about being kind and empathetic and warm and loving, and for you guys to be good people. Because I think I wasn't necessarily the best person, and I'm trying to raise them.
I think you've grown up to be an amazing person. And I look to be like you when I'm older. Truly. I want that kind of relationship with my daughter, and I want the open, non-judgmental community.
And to fight a lot less.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw this back at you. We fight a lot.
Yeah.
Why? We fight all the fucking time.
We do fight all the time. I mean, if I'm being honest, we were fighting like right before we started filming this episode.
And in the middle of the episode.
And hopefully we don't fight for the rest of it.
Not going to happen. I think we just fight all the time.
That's really hard. I think in a way it's because sometimes I see you more as my best friend than my mom.
And how many times do I say, I'm parenting you right now?
But it's not even that, because I would never speak to my best friend the way that sometimes I do speak to you, and I'm owning up to it. But I think it's because we spend so much time together and you know so much about me that sometimes you know more about me than I know about myself, and I don't think I like that. So I just like go at you for it.
Yes.
And I'm working on it, but I think that's any mother-daughter relationship, but it's something I'm growing up and learning that I need to be more appreciative of you, because you're teaching me everything that I need to know that I'm going to want to teach my own daughter.
And I'm working on my tone of voice.
Yeah.
I am. I'm working on my tone of voice. Work in progress.
Yeah. But it's good. It's because you're my bestie. It's easy.
We even fight, and it's so funny, but like about your hair, about my, like.
Or, no, I get like, you take your hand and use your spit to like flatten my hair down.
That's what
or if I have
moms
something
do.
on my face, you're like, no, that's literally disgusting. Like, get away from me.
That's what Gaga used to do. It's a thing.
No.
If you,
I don't need your, no.
No hairspray, no nothing. You literally, it's two seconds
That's
when
okay.
you're on a fly away.
I'll use hairspray. I don't need your spit.
Okay. Sorry, I will try not to use my spit on your hair anymore.
Thank you.
So, can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay, I have a few. How do the Terry Talks make you feel?
I loved them. I know we had the judgy parents and even judgy kids who were like, why are you telling your mom so much? Why are you telling her all these details about things or telling her other people's business? It was never, I'm telling other people's business. It was, you were kind of my only friend. And I hate to say that, but like throughout high school, like I had I had like a smaller group of people, but I never felt like I really had a place. So my place was with you. So you were my person. So, everyone's gossiping and talking with their friends. I was gossiping and talking with you.
I think that is like such an amazing thing that you just touched on. Sorry, I'm having
I'm
having a mom moment. But in all honesty, I think that's like such an amazing thing. I think that it was so unrelatable to other kids
because they had their friends to
that
talk
you
to.
told me. All the stuff that you told me, because they all had best friends that they were confiding in. And although you had your very small group, sometimes those girls were busy or doing something, and you just had that with me.
Well, it was harder because it was smaller. Everyone else had so many friends that if one person was busy, they could just talk to another one or another one. And
if you had a friend that was busy, we were watching movies on a Saturday night and hanging out.
Everyone's partying and I'm watching a movie with you. But I loved it.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
You partied your share.
I did. And I also liked about the Terry Talks. I never had an issue that my friends were opening up to you. I loved it. I thought it doesn't matter who they talk to, as long as they are opening up and sharing with somebody about the way they're feeling. That made me happy.
Where did the Terry Talks take place?
Terry Talks took place in the kitchen. And to give a little dynamic, as you know, but for everyone listening, our house, when I did have people over, we would hang out in the basement or outside with the trampoline and the fire pit. And you made it extremely clear that the kitchen was your space.
It is my space.
It is your space.
My house.
But you also, like, this is, like, the kitchen's where you work. That's where you do your stuff. So when we would come up to get a snack or get water or
Pizza or Chinese
any
food.
sort of food that we were eating at the house, whatever you were giving
I was
us, because
feeding
you
everyone.
always fed everyone. You made it very clear that people, like, you were going to be listening if people were talking. You're either going to be listening, overhearing it, or people were going to be asking you questions and talking about it with you.
Yes.
And I will say, if I'm being honest, I was up here a lot, but I was also downstairs with my friends hanging out, and there was always someone up here voluntarily. Like, they always wanted to talk to you. Somebody always had something to open up about, so.
What makes you want to share things with me?
I mean, if you can't tell, everything that you say to me, you make me feel safe. I don't feel judged, and I know that I will never get in trouble with you as long as I'm honest. And you can be mad at me, and you can tell me what you think I did was horrible
all the time.
but I will never be punished for being honest.
I actually can't even name more than one or two.
I think the only big lies that I've really had with you were my eating disorder and when I was cheated on for the second time.
I can think of one more. Of two, that's the third one is when you were in middle school, I caught you vaping
Oh, no.
in a bathroom
At McDonald's.
at McDonald's. And actually, it's a funny story. Do you mind if I tell it? So you
It's so bad.
you were vaping. You were supposed to be at a gym working out.
Actually, it was a Jewel, but yeah.
Okay. I don't even know the difference, to be honest. I never understood that. But you were supposed to be working out at the gym. You told me you were going to the gym, and your iPad was here, and it kept going bing, 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 bing while I was doing work, and it was annoying me. So I opened the iPad, and all of the texts are up there, and you are literally texting a friend saying, "I don't know if I should do it. I'm nervous.
Oh my God.
I'm scared.
I sound so cringy. Please, this is
I'm
so
in
embarrassing.
I'm in the bathroom at McDonald's. Should I take a hit?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" And I just kept reading.
I think this is
and
seventh
reading
grade. Please
and
don't
reading
judge.
And reading. So you were when I
Okay,
asked
but
you.
that's really good for all these years, I would say.
Yes, but when I asked you, you lied to me.
I did.
Okay,
And
so
that will happen again.
that was the third thing. Thank you. For the things that you don't share with me, why?
It's not that I didn't want to share them with you. I think for those specific ones, it's that I didn't even want to admit them to myself. So I felt so guilty lying to you, but I wasn't processing what I lied to you about, which was my eating disorder, being cheated on, but I didn't process it and want to share because I was also embarrassed and ashamed, and I knew you'd be mad that I was lying.
Okay. That's it. I'm
I know.
good.
All right. Well, I got one wrap up, really big one that I think you're gonna like. But what are some advice to parents who either want to have a closer relationship with their kids or who want to get closer or improve their relationship with their kids?
I would say share more stories with your kids. I think that what your dad and I have done, and your dad wasn't super comfortable with this when we first met because
He's been so good now. He shares stories still.
I think tell your kids your biggest heartbreak. Tell them about your first time. Tell them about when you did something bad. If you tried a cigarette or you did something, let them know you're not perfect. I am very, very honest and straightforward about my screw ups when that I wasn't that nice of a child sometimes, that I was mean.
You own it.
That I, the first time I tried a cigarette, my first heartbreak and how devastating that was for me. And that, I kept going back to an ex-boyfriend. I think all of those things, when you hear that from a parent, it's super important because then your kid is like, okay, they aren't this perfect parent.
They've been through it too.
They've been through it.
It's nice to know that.
I would say think about your reactions more. I'm very cautious of how I react when you tell me things. I think sometimes it's very easy to judge or get angry. And I know with you, and it's not with everyone, you punish yourself enough.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't need to yell at you, scream at you, or punish you because you have literally destroyed yourself about what you just did. And I think that is a second one. A third one I would definitely say is share interests with your kid. You have certain TV shows that I'm now obsessed with because we started watching them together because that was how you would spend time with
Absolutely.
me. Or a sport that you were super into, or your brother's super into.
Dance moms.
We watched a lot of Dance Moms.
You were a dance mom.
I became a dance mom, which I don't even. I
don't know how.
I wasn't a dancer.
No.
I was a totally different kind of athlete, and I became super dance mom
You did
because
everything. My
you were a
buns,
big
my
dancer.
makeup, literally.
Yeah, so I think share more of your kids' interests. We go to concerts together. We went to Justin Bieber together.
We're trying to go to Taylor Swift.
We're trying to go to Taylor Swift. So I think that that's really, really important. And I would say social media. I'm going to say this straight off the bat. We did not grow up with social media. I think I have given you, I think growing up with social media is so hard. I think having everything that you do or say recorded or someone could be recording it is scary. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, I don't know if I would be here today if every mistake I ever made was glorified. I think cancel culture is super scary. I think that's kind of part of our messaging about chasing red flags is that we all make mistakes. We all have red flags. We all have things we're not proud of. We all have parts of us that aren't great and flaws, and that's now magnified.
Yeah.
And so
embrace them, own them, be proud of them because nobody is
or
actually.
work on them.
Yeah.
Not even just be proud of them.
No, work on them.
But know what they are and work on them.
You can always improve yourself and who you are.
I just
believe.
can't imagine if social media was there when I was doing all the stupid things that I did.
I agree.
And
the lesson you always taught me, and I love it and I'll say it, but like if everything you do was on video. So I always have to remember that. And it can be on video now. I bet everything that like
or text. Like when you text someone
imagine that posted everywhere
it
on
doesn't
TV.
Disappear.
It never disappears. I wish I grew up in a time where there were no phones and technology. I just think it would be
It was a little bit of an
simpler.
easier life.
Yeah. But
so that's it.
Thank you for answering all my questions.
That was
Sorry.
not horrible. I don't feel like
I didn't mean to grill you, but you're really open, so I appreciate it. Thank
Love you.
I hope this helped everyone so much get to know us and our relationship a little bit more and hopefully help parents who want to get closer with their kids. And I'm happy to share my mom with anyone who needs her. So please feel free to reach out, open up. This is a safe space, confidential, and we hope you enjoyed. In the meantime, keep being real, keep being you,
and know that we've got your back.
If you have any thoughts, questions, or just want to say hi, we would love to hear from you. Your support means everything to us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Chasing Red Flags Official and on Facebook and YouTube at Chasing Red Flags. And if you want to share your story, ask a question, or pick up some Chasing Red Flags merch, go to chasingredflags.com. The Chasing Red Flags podcast is produced by Jay Del Turco. We are new in this space, so if you enjoyed what you're hearing, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or add a comment and like on our YouTube channel.